Howdy there, viewer. South Korea, a nation well known for its rich cultural exports, such as cuisine, music, and yes, games. Come in, Project Moon, a South Korean game developer headed by Kim Jae-hoon. The studio has more than a couple of games under their belts. One more to be exact. They have exactly 3 games. Lobotomy Corporation, Library of Ruina, and Limbus Company, in that order. They made 2 games before then being fated to develop a gacha till the end of their days. Classic South Korean dev pipeline. A tale as old as time. Now, I've heard great things about Limbus Company. I've actually wanted to check it out for a while now. I mean, cool dudes, attractive women, vaguely Lovecraftian in nature. What is there not to love? Wait, hold on a second. Is this game just Bloodborne? Anyway, despite my interest, there was one thing missing. Knowledge. My knowledge. You see, Limbus Company is the 3rd game in the series, so were I to start with that one, I would not know any of the lore, and no real man would say no to good lore. As such, I see no better place to start with than with the first game in the series, Lobotomy Corporation. Although, I must confess, this isn't my first rodeo with the corporation. You see, I had initially bought this game around 2 years ago. I played it for a bit, made it around day 20, day 25, then dropped it. No real reason. But a year later, I came back and I gave it another go. And once again, I made it around day 20 and quit. All this to say that I'm not going in entirely blind, and that at the very least, I hope to make it to at least day 26 this time around. Before we begin, you may have noticed the logo in the top left of the screen. Just to clarify, this is not a modded playthrough. I mean, I haven't beaten the base game yet, so it doesn't make sense to try it with mods. But what I did install, however, is various skins for the agents. Turns out I didn't need to install the mod tool to install skins. But it is what it is. Regardless, gameplay-wise, rest assured, this is the vanilla game. There's just some more wacky faces walking around the facility, so make sure to keep an eye out for that. With that being said, let's get started. We begin our journey as the titular manager, hired by the elusive Mr. A. Our AI assistant Angela explains to us our role in the company. She also spends a lot of time hyping herself up as this big deal. The best AI out there, she says. Yeah, I don't know about that one. We also meet some more members of the team. Well, one other member, Malkuth. A bit of a ditz, but a hard-working lady. She's the head of the control team. When some problematic employees try to cause a scene, she even acts quickly and deals with the situation in an efficient manner. Now this is a lady we can trust. So we begin our first day proper, with nobody but Justin. Well, Justin, luckily for you, this is a no deaths playthrough, so you will not be dying, it seems. We could use some extra help, so let's get someone else in there while we're at it. Now this is our main gameplay screen, and we perform a great majority of our managerial duties. Right now it's small, we have but a single skeleton within our containment, but eventually our facility can grow to look more like this. Yeah, pretty cool, right? Don't worry, I don't know what's going on half the time either. Anyway, our objective as manager is to reach an energy quota by the end of each day. The quota, in your progress towards completing it, is shown in the top left corner of the screen. Now, how do you meet this energy quota? Well, by working with the various abnormalities, of course. Abnormalities are the various weird and anomalous creatures, items, guys, gizmos, and gadgets that are contained and more importantly harvested within the facility. When you choose to work with an abnormality, you send out an agent to perform one of 4 types of work. Instinct work, which is all about getting physical with the abnormalities. As the name suggests, it is all about satiating one's base instinctual needs and desires. That which lies deep within the core of man and beast alike. Truly a job only for the brave and hardy, hence why performing it often will increase your HP. Insight work, which revolves around the mind, the pursuit of knowledge, the ability to take note of the abnormal environment and make changes to it as needed. One needs their wits about them for this one, hence why it raises sanity as well. Attachment work is about getting intimate, personal, and deeply connected with the abnormalities. Every man has social needs, and abnormalities are no different. So it is your responsibility, yes, you watching this, to fulfill these needs, whatever they may be. But be careful, there is a line you should not cross, a point of no return. Only a fool would find themselves in. Those who do well in this field become faster and more successful in future work attempts, so as to not spend too much time with any given abnormality, lest things end up going in an unforeseen direction. Repression work is the opposite of these last three. Abnormalities, as we have mentioned, have needs and wants, and as the repressor, it is your job to deny them, to keep them in check, show them who's boss, much like a man denying to give a 16th century orphan boy another bowl of gruel, to remind the repressed of the virtue of patience. And in both cases, a great deal of justice is needed to be able to perform such a deed with the required level of class and finesse. Now, abnormalities have different preferences to certain types and levels of work, so playing into each of those correctly will help you gain a higher success rate and, as such, an increased amount of energy production. Apart from the total energy production you must meet to complete each day, each abnormality has its own personal energy amount. This energy can be used to research the abnormality and learn more about it. Information such as its name and description, work type success rates, escape information, various managerial guidelines which contain tips on how to deal with the respective abnormalities, and most importantly of all, the abnormalities lore. But we'll put a pin on that for now. Escape information. You see, some abnormalities may just be objects or weak, and as such incapable of escape, but others may breach containment, as they say, or rather breach security. I'm sorry about that. The most common reason is the abnormality's kill-pif counter reaching 0 due to poor quality work, though there are other more unique variables that might cause an abnormality's escape. It's all on a case-by-case basis. Periodically, whenever you reach a certain number of performed works, a kill-pif meltdown will take place. When this happens, a certain amount of containment units will begin to glow red and tick down with a timer, the number of which is dictated by the amount listed on the right of the progress bar. If you do not work on these glowing abnormalities within the listed time limit, their kill-pif counter will drop to 0 and you will lose energy. Very stressful indeed, but not as stressful as it gets. You see, at some points, instead of a kill-pif meltdown, you will have to deal with an ordeal. Ordeals are little events in which various enemies will spawn throughout the entire facility. Once dealt with, you will be rewarded with a large amount of energy for your efforts. Now, what do these ordeals entail? There are 5 types: the clowns, the machines, the worms, the bog, and the sweepers. All of these range in difficulty. There's 4 possible levels of ordeal you can face, each getting harder from dusk till midnight, although certain ones will not be available to you until the end of the game. Now, with all these things trying to kill you, how is it that you deal with them? Well, by fighting back, of course. Abnormalities may not be able to be killed, but that doesn't mean you can make their lives as painful as possible. Show them some good old-fashioned Spanish love. So put on your best armor and weapons, apply all the shields you can, and get ready to see 3 of your best agents die to an instant kill move. Now, how do we obtain good weapons and armor? That's handled through research as well. Any leftover energy you obtained for any given abnormality can be used to buy a certain amount of EGOs. Some are good, most aren't. There's 5 categories of EGOs: Zaween, Tef, He, Wa, and Aleph. Now, what is an EGO? What do these different classifications all mean? Well, the answer to all those questions are in the lore. And remember, we put a pin on that. So for now, all you have to know is that anything that isn't Aleph or Wa is straight garbage. Completely useless. Any agent you give that low-level armor to instantly becomes cannon fodder. A glorified clerk. One of those little guys who runs around the facility contributing nothing of real value and then dying. So we've talked a lot about the gameplay, but I'm sure the question on everyone's mind is, what about the lore? I mean, that's the whole reason I haven't played Limbus Company, to catch up on the extensive Project Moon lore. Certain abnormalities are unable to be researched through normal means, and instead require you to either use them or stay within their containment for a certain amount of time. I mean, most of these are places or objects, and I mean, you can't perform attachment work on an object, right? Fine. The game story, much like real life, or better yet, much like a Persona game, is presented to you in a day-by-day system. Each day is the same. You wake up, your assistant attempts to either belittle you, gaslight you, or just overall reduce your morale before the workday begins. You experience whatever quest lines you have completed, then your work begins. The cycle repeats, the day is over. You are the manager of the company, the corporation, the Lobotomy Corporation. Your job is, as said, to research abnormalities and supply energy. Now, as for where this energy ends up, nobody seems to know. You can pretty easily pick up that some funny business is afoot here. Some things do in fact seem to not be quite right. It's pretty quickly made aware to you, for example, that the wacky cast of Sephirot helping you out are all actually machines. Angela, for one, states that she's a super advanced AI as early as day one. As for the others, they are all the heads of their own respective departments. We already met Malkuth, the sane one, but other than her, there's a couple more divided between 3 levels. The Azuya, the Brai, and Adzilaf. If I've mispronounced any of the terms in this game so far, that isn't true. I'm a linguistic expert. You've been mispronouncing them your whole life, actually. The lower down the department is, the more lore they possess, and the deeper lore they possess. An area's difficulty is correspondent with its level of lore. Truly good game design, and well use of environmental storytelling. Each Sephiroth has a short quest line to complete. These are completed by finishing the missions assigned to you by the Sephiroth in question. These range from something simple like performing a certain type of work, or having certain agents with high enough stats, to other more hellish tasks to complete. After completing a mission, you will get a small story scene with the Sephiroth, as well as unlock an ability corresponding to the department which it belonged to. After having completed all the missions, you will peer a glimpse into that character's trauma, at which point the opportunity to perform a core suppression will open up to you. These essentially function as the game's big boss fights. You close down the corresponding department, unable to assign any agent there, and have to deal with the clear condition, usually making it to a certain Kilpuff level before the day ends. You are unable to complete any other missions at this time, and will have some sort of penalty placed on you. Some of these Sephiroth core suppressions are quite simple and fairly straightforward. Some are a bit harder, and some are my own living hell. Oh, let me talk to you about Jebera. Jebera. Now, I like her design. Very cool, very hot. Not as hot as another Sephiria we'll touch on later, but that's besides the point. She has a cool story. She's the head of the disciplinary team, so she's in charge of the suppression of any loose abnormalities. A warrior once known as the Red Mist, obsessed with battle, now forced to aimlessly fight without purpose within the facility. Her questline shows off a lot about her and her tragic fate. You get a real sense of just how far she's fallen from her little exchange with the Rabbit Squad. But oh, her core suppression has to be the worst one by far. Unlike the others, hers is a proper fight. She has 4 phases, switches her damage types, and has a ton of HP. She also constantly moves and teleports between rooms, and in her later phases, gets access to some more brutal AoE attacks. I banged my head against the wall, trying to kill this wench for hours. I equipped my best agents with the best gear I had, and got them all to hunt her down, applying shields constantly. I even released some abnormalities to bait them into attacking her. Nothing worked. I could get her down to phase 3 somewhat consistently before all hell broke loose. I was hopeless. I didn't know what to do. That was until I remembered who it is that I was. I'm the manager. I don't need to engage in barbaric activities such as hand-to-hand combat. My mind is my weapon, and as such, I devised a new, far more clever strategy. I hired a ton of goons and sent one agent to hide in the safe room as the apocalypse came down upon my facility, slowly killing her over the course of 80 minutes. Now, was this the best way to go about it? Did I really earn this victory? Was this really an honorable fight? Taking a look at the other Sephirot, we have, as mentioned before, Malkuth, the sane one, Yasad, the quiet one, Nedzak, he's literally me, Hod, the dead one, Tiphereth, but really just Tiphereth, the best one. I am not talking about you again. Shesed, the crestfallen one, Hakma, the old one. He also by far has the most boring core suppression. Not being able to fast forward? Come on, man, what's up with that? Anyway, then we have Benai, the hot one. And last, and definitely least, Angela, the worst one. All of these have their own quest lines to go down and trauma to resolve. Except for you. I don't like you. And most of them are pretty touching. If I had to choose a favorite, I'd definitely give it to Best Girl, Tiphereth, a female. But that's enough about the Sephirot. What about the main story? What's the deal with that? Well, slowly throughout the course of the game, we've been able to piece together a couple of things. This is called foreshadowing. It's a technique to keep the player on edge. In a constant state of edge, if you will. Kinda like when I put Fallout Shelter gameplay back there for a second. You might have asked yourself, did that really happen? Or am I just going crazy? I don't know. It seems like you'll have to go back and rewatch the whole video to find out. Kinda like I had to replay this whole game in order to achieve 100% abnormality dissolution. But that's besides the point. What have we learned? We are Mr. A, the CEO of the Lobotomy Corporation. It seems the person we hired to be manager was us all along. The best man for the job was inside us this whole time. It appears we are trapped in some sort of cycle, a constant loop of sorts. The old guy even makes this crystal clear by killing a man before our very eyes. Quite informative indeed. But through suppressing cores, through maxing out research on all the various abnormalities, we may hopefully break free from this cycle and find the answer to all the questions we've been asking ourselves. I'm going to level with you for a second. I've gone insane playing this game. I'm not very good at it. All my agents keep dying because I either forget to ring the stupid train, forget to copulate with the magical girl, or the fact that each of my departments is manned by no more than 2 agents at any given time catches up with me as a swarm of enemies eat my whole team alive during an ordeal. Either way, suffice to say, I have no idea what's going on, and I hope that in the end, I will find the answers I seek. Well, at least I did. You see, I make it to day 46, and I met face to face with a mysterious man. It seems this is the point of no return. From here on out, I cannot come back. Now, one thing I noticed was that this game seems to have multiple endings. I imagine that had I not done the quests, I would have received some sort of bad ending, an unwanted outcome. But I got all my core suppressions done. I got all my expansions done, and I got all my abnormality dissolution done, or so I thought. You see, when I go to check up on it, I see it's only at around 50%. It appears there are more abnormalities in this game than I originally thought, and then it dawned on me. I would have to replay this entire game once more in order to be able to experience the game's true ending, to truly see what lies beyond the walls of the architecture department, what lies at the core of the Lobotomy Corporation. But as I have shown, this game has proven to be quite the soul-draining endeavor, quite the ordeal, if you will. Will I do, as I said before, bite the bullet and reset, or should I simply accept defeat and go on to get whatever lame ending I'd get from not really beating the game, like a real lobotomizer would? Or mayhaps I would give up, as the game has shown me, simply return to the cycle, my own cycle, as I have done before. Give up, drop the game, and come back years later to to reset the game only to inevitably drop it right before completion once more, fated to never see what lies beyond the credits, and never be able to experience the rest of the expansive Project Moon lore. But surely, now would be the time to break free from that cycle, no matter how hard it may be, right?